Our next step in the series of Google Sheets assignments, Google Sheets 5B, we're going to analyze that dice data that happened in the previous assignment when we all rolled the virtual dice 50 times, and we were rolling 3 dice and trying to figure out, okay, what's the most common result? The lowest is a 3, the highest is an 18. What's the most common? I am using first hour to demonstrate this, but if you're in fifth hour, it'll work the same way. Here is, this is the lineup here for 5B, so I'm going to click there. There are two things. The Google Doc is a handout that has instructions and kind of leads you through it, and it tells you, how you're going to get started, and there's some formulas. There's only really one formula you're going to have to write. Got to do a little bit of formatting, and then we're also going to create a line chart today. So instructions for that are on the handout, plus I'm going to show you. The other thing that's here is the Google Sheet that has the data on it that you need, and when you click that, Google Classroom will make a copy for you, and so you'll be able to do your work and then just turn it in. I've already got it open, so I'm just going to switch over here, and I've got it ready to go. So this is what we've got. These are all the people in period 1 who successfully completed the dice rolls and turned them in. If your name's not on here, it's because I didn't get anything from you. So sorry about that, but that's kind of not my fault. All right, so here's the setup, right? It's alphabetical. Ava at the top, Luke at the bottom, and all the 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s, all the way down to the 18s. Now here's the only formula we're really going to write. We want to find out how many of each thing happened, right? So I'm going to go here to the 3s. I'm going to start here at C, what would it be, C6, and I'm going to click there, and I'm going to drag down to select all of the 3s that were rolled in our session. And then I'm just going to go up here, and I'll just use the function button up here and just say I want a sum of that. And we're getting used to this. It pops on. It says, okay, I'm going to calculate a sum with these numbers. I'll press enter there. And I get 11. And then I'm going to click back where that says 11. I'll grab the duplication handle and just take it right across there. And now we have sums of all of the possible results. And I think we have a winner. Right, here it is. Looks like 10s was our most common result, at least in period 1. And I think that's probably pretty accurate. I've never really tested this out and done like thousands and thousands of rolls, but that's a pretty good indication, because this really does represent a lot of rolls of the dice, and we came up with 10s being the most common. There are some others that are, reasonably close. Here's 9s and 11s. That are not terribly, and they're pretty close to each other, right? And then it just kind of slopes off after that. And of course, this should be what you expected. The ones with the fewest results are, the 3s and the 18s. Those are really hard to roll. So we have our results, and I know that's not going to change your life, but we have the answer to our question, and I certainly would not have wanted to do the calculations myself without the help of the spreadsheet. But we're not done. Now we're going to make a chart out of some of the data here. Now here's what I want to do. I want to include these labels. These are just labels up here. This isn't really data from the experiment, right? These are just labels. 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s. I want to include those in my chart that I'm about to make. The other thing I want to include in my chart are these numbers right here. I want these totals down here, because I want the chart to show me, okay, how many, I want a kind of a visual representation of the 3s and the 4s and the 5s and the 6s and the 7s. So I'm going to need both the labels and the totals. But here's the problem, right? When I select this, I get the label selected, and then I go down and I select that. Well, the labels aren't selected anymore. Okay, well, maybe the solution is to just select all of it. Well, trust me, you don't want to make a chart out of that. It would be a huge mess. You do not want that. Okay, so here is the solution in case you don't know. Maybe you already do. I want these labels, so I'm going to select them. Okay, now I also want these totals, but I don't want everything in between. So what I'm going to do is press down the Control key on the keyboard, CTRL. Just press down Control. And then I'm going to drag across these totals down here, and then let go of the control key, let go of the mouse, let go of the control key, let go of everything. And that's the situation I want right there. I want both of those things to be selected, the labels and the totals. Holding the control key helps you do that. It's important to have these selected because when I go to make a chart, you got to have data selected, and we got a whole series about charts coming up here. You'll get very used to that. All right, now there's a lot of ways to do this, but I'm going to go to Insert, and I'm going to go to Chart. Boom. And Google Sheets has come up with, its guess about what it thinks I wanted, but it's not what I wanted. Okay, so if you look at the handout, and you watch this video or look at the handout, I want a line chart. Okay, now it could be smooth, or it doesn't have to be smooth. It could be a line chart or a smooth line chart. So I'm going to show you how to switch that, because right now, my voice is cracking. Right now, Google Sheets did not give me a line chart. This is called a column chart. Get into that later. Here's how you fix that. Over here on the right hand side, where it says, and I don't know if it'll let me do this. Will it let me do this? Yeah, it'll let me do this. Okay, so now I'm just going to bring that back up. Oh, I moved it too far. Okay, there. I just wanted to move it over, so you don't really have to do that, but I wanted to move it over so I can show you kind of at the same time. All right. It's a column chart. I don't want a column chart. So I'm going to drop this down, and then right here, there's either line or smooth line. Either one's okay with me, whichever one you want. Let's not do this one. Let's not do a combo today. We'll get into that later, but not today. Line or smooth line. That's your assignment. You pick line or smooth line. I'll just do a line chart. Yay. Kind of looks like a mountain, which is what I expected because the 10s were the most. All right, so I have that. Now, let me see do I really need to do this? No. I think on the handout, if it's looking like this, this is the kind of line that we want here. Okay. I think on the handout it may say click this, switch rows and columns, but if it's looking like this, then we're good. That's kind of what we want it to look like. Now, if it happens to do something like that, you may have to click here where it says, okay, here it is. On the combined ranges, I think we're going to want that vertical. Okay, so you got a line chart, combined ranges vertical, and you might have to turn on this switch. If it's like that and it's not showing anything, you might have to do switch rows and columns and turn that on. You want switch rows and columns down here to be turned on, and vertical here. Okay. Now, this is behaving a little bit weird because it says Luke totals, and it's referring to Luke Wiederholt. Way to go, Luke. We're going to change that. All right. So now what we do is we customize. We're going to customize this chart. And so what we'll do to take care of that is we'll come over here to the right side of this chart editor. You got setup and you got customize. So I'm going to go over here to customize. And one of the things I want is like on the style, I might, and this is where some of this gets up to you. A background color? Would you like a different background color? Like maybe, I don't know, like yellow or cream colored or something like that. You could change that. Border color. And the border color doesn't do a lot. There's a border around the chart, but you could change that if you want to. You could change a font. It's got a certain font working there, but you could change that if you want to. So this is all on chart style. I'm going to go ahead and close up chart style. Chart and axis titles. Now this, I think I am going to change. Like the chart title right here says, this is where it's come up for whatever reason, Luke/totals. All right, well, let's change that. That's not no offense, Luke, but that's kind of not the title I want. All right, so I'm just going to say roll the dice. Something like that, because that's what we were doing, right? We were rolling dice. Okay. And you could play around with, I could make that title bold if I wanted to. I could change the font of that title. I could say I could make the title a different size. That actually made it a little bit smaller. There. I could center it if I wanted to. There's all these options right here on the title text. Yay. Okay, now that's for the chart title. I could also do, it looks to me like there is a vertical axis title, and it's another place where it says Luke totals. Um, so, I'm just going to put the word results in there because that's what these numbers are showing over here. How many times, like, how many times do we get a 10? And our 10s were 173, so you can see them sticking up here above 150. So I'm just going to label that results. And again, you could play with all of the font size, the color, the bold, italic. All right, so I'm going to close that up. I'll go to series. I'm just working my way through here. And really, the thing you might consider here would be um, the color of the line, or the thickness of the line, or the type of the line, right? So it's like, do you want the line to be a different color? Right now it's blue. It's really kind of up to you. Right? Maybe I'll make it kind of a dark purple just for kicks and giggles. Maybe I could have I like the solid line because you have a dotted or a dashed, or point size. Let's see, maybe 7. And what that does, put data points on it, right? Little dots on there. And what kind of data points do you want? Would you rather have stars or diamonds, or and oh, the line thickness, I might bump that up some just for kicks and giggles. Now my diamonds need to I'm going to switch back to circles. Point size a little bit bigger. Okay, so it's just play with, see these format things on series, just play with options, make it look like you want it to look. Legend, we're not even going to mess with legend today. Skip it. Horizontal axis, I guess you could play with a little bit. It's down here where it says 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s. So you could make it bold if you wanted to, or you could make it italic if you wanted to. You could play around with that if you wish. So just close that up when you're happy. Vertical axis, same kind of thing. There's not that much there, but like if I made it bold, those numbers, the 0, 50, 100, 150, they change their format a little bit. So that's what that is for. And you can kind of play with that. And then grid lines and ticks. You could certainly add in grid lines. That didn't really make any difference, did it? Major ticks. All right, so you can put tick marks in there, grid lines in there. Right, that's what that whole section is for, grid lines and little tick marks. And so you can play with that. All right, I'm going to go back here to series because I think there should be some place, I can tell it. I want data labels. I kind of like data labels. That's on the series thing. I'm going to check mark data labels and see what it does is put the numbers there, so that I can actually see, like when it gets up here to the 10s, it tells me, hey, there were 173 of those. I kind of like data labels myself. It's up to you, though. So this is a part of the assignment here. This is just kind of a floating chart, which you can, by the way, move around and put, kind of wherever you want. And you can, when you're done, you can close this chart editor right here. Up here, there's a chart editor, and there's an X right here, and you can close that. All right. And then if you click on your chart, you can kind of put it wherever you like. And we're going to learn more about charts as we go. This, folks, is the assignment. This is it. Now, if you're in fifth hour, it's going to look a little bit different because you're going to have a different set of names, and the results might be slightly different, but this is the idea behind the assignment. Well, what are you waiting for? Time to get started. Off you go.